The engines are revving up and the drivers are ready to hit the gas pedal for this qualifying session at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Simon of the Desert is on his out lap. As Simon of the Desert completes the outlap, he will be hoping there's enough space on track to fully attack on the flying lap. Simon of the Desert has completed his outlap. The pressure is on in this That's the outlap done for Kevin Lekmansky. He'll now look to focus on his first flying lap. Simon of the Desert is on his first flying lap. Simon of the Desert has just completed a lap in 0:17.934. Let's see if he can improve on that time further. Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for second in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.118, but that won't stop him from trying.
Narwhal is in the green by 0.29. Narwhal will be happy, with a time good enough for third in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 0.327 gap to pole.
It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and James Garbach is nailing both. James Garbach has just completed that lap in 0:18.709, which is 0.775 off the best time, putting him in P4. Narwhal has improved by 0.1. James Garbach will be happy, with a time good enough for fifth in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.6, but that won't stop him from trying.
Kevin Lekmansky is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:17.914.
It may be difficult for him to improve on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. It's far better to drive smooth and smart.
Melero is in the green by 0.38. Melero will be happy, with a time good enough for fourth in this qualifying session. Narwhal is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:17.897.
That's a great time, but it's always a good idea to keeping pushing for every last tenth and hundredth.
There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Craig Gallagher has some work to do, as his best time of 0:19.256 is only good enough for sixth. Craig Gallagher has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.853 is only good enough for sixth.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 0.956 gap to pole.
Craig Gallagher has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.853 is only good enough for sixth. Craig Gallagher has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.853 is only good enough for 6th. Craig Gallagher has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.620 is only good enough for 6th. Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session. It's clear that Ryan Wilson is pushing his car to the very edge of traction on this qualifying lap.
Absolutely. Wilson is showing the world what he's made of.
Craig Gallagher looks to be off the leader by 0.826. Janet, what can he do to improve?
Every driver needs something different.
Craig Gallagher has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.620 is only good enough for 7th.
There's at least 0.826 seconds to be found, but Craig Gallagher may be looking for it in the wrong places.
James Garbach currently has 0.692 of a gap to match P1. Janet, any thoughts on ways to improve?
It's easy for a driver to get into a rhythm on the track, but there's no guarantee that rhythm is right. Each corner needs to be constantly reevaluated.
James Garbach will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. Bones looks to be off the pace. Janet, what can he do to improve?
Well, Marco, he'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
Bones will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. David Zahn is now up 0.1. David Zahn has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.258 is only good enough for 6th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 0.464 gap to pole.
Craig Gallagher has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.574 is only good enough for 9th. David Zahn has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.012 is only good enough for 6th. Bones will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. Narwhal is now up 0.12. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Craig Gallagher has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.499 is only good enough for 9th.
There's at least 0.741 seconds to be found, but Craig Gallagher may be looking for it in the wrong places.
Bones will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. Ryan Wilson has found an extra 0.11. Ryan Wilson will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. David Zahn has some work to do, as his best time of 0:18.012 is only good enough for 7th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 0.284 gap to pole.
David Zahn has some work to do, as his best time of 0:17.921 is only good enough for 7th.
There's at least 0.193 seconds to be found, but Zahn may be looking for it in the wrong places.
David Zahn has some work to do, as his best time of 0:17.921 is only good enough for 7th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 0.215 gap to pole.
Melero will be happy, with a time good enough for 3rd in this qualifying session. Bones has some work to do, as his best time of 0:17.851 is only good enough for 7th.
There's at least 0.145 seconds to be found, but Bones may be looking for it in the wrong places.
Bones has some work to do, as his best time of 0:17.830 is only good enough for 6th. Kevin Lekmansky is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:17.706.
It may be difficult for him to improve on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. It's far better to drive smooth and smart.
Melero is now up 0.1. Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session. Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session. A solid performance from David Zahn, currently holding down P7. However, with the session David Zahn has some work to do, as his best time of 0:17.850 is only good enough for 7th. What a performance from Bones, currently in 5th on the grid. It's a good spot for now, but Bones is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:17.695.
That's a great time, but it's always a good idea to keeping pushing for every last 10th and 100th.
Bones is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:17.695. A solid qualifying performance by Kevin. Bones is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 0:17.695.
That's a great time, but it's always a good idea to keeping pushing for every last tenth and hundredth.
Kevin Lekmanski will be happy with a time good enough for third in this qualifying session. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at North Wilkesboro Speedway, as we're getting ready to kick things off.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Marco.
Starting in pole position gives Bones a clear advantage over the rest of the field.
He can't afford to get complacent. He will have a target on his back now.
Starting on the front row is a great opportunity for Narwhal to challenge for the lead.
This is a great place to be, but there's always the threat of drivers right behind getting a better start and a slipstream into the first turn.
Watch out for Kevin Lekmanski, starting from the third grid position in today's race.
It's like he's on the outside looking in, close enough to see the front without actually being there.
We're seeing Ryan Wilson in the fourth spot,
putting that ASRL Chevrolet 28 into prime position for the race.
Melero is going to be starting from fifth.
He's going to have to be quick out of the blocks to keep up with the top performers.
Simon of the Desert is lining up sixth.
Oh, Desert is hoping for a strong result.
Sitting in seventh is David Zahn. James Garvach is lining up eighth. On the ninth grid slot we have Craig Gallagher. The formation lap is underway as the safety car leads the drivers out through the first lap. As the drivers make their way around the formation lap, tensions are high and the excitement is so thick you can almost see it.
This is the moment where they need to stay focused and keep their cool. It's a real test of their mental and physical preparation.
The teams will also be keeping a close eye on their drivers, ensuring everything is running smoothly.
The formation lap can also be a
And we have liftoff. The race is now underway. This first sector will test the drivers' skills and their ability to stay focused.
These first moments can set the tone for the rest of the race. It's all about keeping a clear head and making smart decisions.
It's a challenging situation for Ryan Wilson. He's sandwiched between fierce competitors. Melero 0.1 seconds away and Kevin 0.2 seconds ahead. Hold that thought. Hold your breath, folks. Ryan Wilson is sandwiched between two relentless competitors. Melero 0.1 seconds behind and Kevin 0.2 seconds ahead. They're fighting tooth and nail for every position. Craig Gallagher is looking for a way round Narwhal.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
In racing, hold that thought. It's looking good for Simon of the Desert, who has gained a place after passing Melero. The drivers have been working hard to come up with the perfect race strategy. They've been looking at the weather, the track conditions and the performance of their cars.
Now it's time to put that strategy into action and see if it pays off.
We're watching James Garbach in 6th, and is currently being hounded by David Zahn with a gap of just 0.2 seconds. Hold that thought. Incredible. James Garbach is caught in a fierce battle, with Dave breathing down his neck 0.2 seconds away, and Melero just ahead with a gap of 0.2 seconds. It's a test of his racing skills.
Absolutely, Marco. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are like windows of opportunity for James Garbach. He'll need to assess the timing and make a move wisely to maximize his chances.
Looks like we might have a great battle starting here between Craig Gallagher in 7th and David Zahn. It's been tense with a gap of only 0.3 seconds. David Zahn has the pedal to the metal chasing Craig Gallagher.
If David gets too close, he might end up taking the paint off.
Fantastic move from David Zahn, who has just gained a position.
You can't argue with results like that. Dave is really making his mark on this race.
Things are heating up as Craig Gallagher closes in on David Zahn. Breaking news, folks. Heartbreak for Craig Gallagher as they slip down the field.
That's got to be frustrating. But Craig Gallagher is a skilled driver, and he's got what it takes to battle back up the field.
The adrenaline is pumping as James Garbach gets within striking distance of David Zahn in their race for 7th.
With the way James Garbach is stalking Zahn, you'd think he's trying to figure out what he had for breakfast this morning.
The battle for P6 is heating up as David Zahn tries to catch Craig Gallagher in P6. Good news for David Zahn. The gap to Craig Gallagher has decreased. It's now stop the press. Great driving from David Zahn, who has just gained a place and moved up to 6th.
That's what we like to see. Dave is really showing his class today.
The race is heating up as Craig Gallagher in 9th closes in on Narwhal. Oh dear, Craig Gallagher has had an incident.
Oops, Craig Gallagher is going to be wishing that hadn't happened.
Oh, this is getting intense. Simon of the Desert is just a few car lengths behind Melero.
The racing is getting tight between Simon and Melero as they battle for P4. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
Narwhal is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. It looks like Craig Gallagher is pushing hard to catch up to Narwhal.
Narwhal is not going to give up his position easily.
Narwhal is looking for an opportunity to get around James Garbach.
He'll need to keep it on the road, or at the very least the rumble strips. The fastest way around is not usually in the grass. As the saying goes, too much grass will slow you down.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Craig Gallagher is chasing Narwhal in P8.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Craig Gallagher is really walking that fine line.
The pursuit is on. Narwhal is closing the gap on James Garbach, determined to claim. Hold up, breaking info. What a move. Narwhal has moved up to 7. This is where the race gets really interesting. James Garbach is closing in on Narwhal.
We'll have to wait to see if James Garbach can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder his progress.
It's certainly not going to plan for James Garbach right now, who is struggling to keep up with Narwhal. Kevin Lekmansky is staying focused while chasing Bones in P1.
The gap is 0.9 seconds now. Kevin is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Bones.
Hold on a second. A brilliant maneuver from Kevin Lekmansky, who has just moved up the field. Ryan Wilson is giving it his all chasing down Kevin Lekmansky in P2.
The gap between them is just over 0.7 seconds, which can feel like miles if you're trailing and not catching up.
Look at that. Simon of the Desert is hot on the tail of Melero.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Simon should use slipstreaming to his advantage and close the gap to Melero.
Hold on a second. A great moment for Simon of the Desert, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. It's a brilliant day for racing, and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really pushing themselves and their machines to the limit. Breaking update. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race he'd been looking at a decent result.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Ryan Wilson in 7th chases after Narwhal. It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Craig Gallagher as there is a big gap ahead.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Craig Gallagher is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
James Garbach is running 8th and trying to catch Ryan Wilson.
The gap between them is now just over 0.5 seconds.
It's not looking good for James Garbach, who is still behind Ryan Wilson, and the gap is increasing. James Garbach has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Ryan Wilson. I expect his only hope at this point is that Ryan makes an error. It's all about consistency for Ryan Wilson, who is currently 7th. He's pulling away. Ryan Wilson is increasing the gap to James Garbach.
That's a really strong performance from Wilson.
Hold the phone. Looks like that's a mistake from James Garbach. This could be costly.
North Wilkesboro Speedway is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
James Garbach is pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap to Ryan Wilson. There's 9 minutes left in this session to make that happen. Narwhal will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
That's right, Narwhal in 5th knows to push it to the limit to catch up. But Simon is no slouch, and he's going to be pushing just as hard.
Things are heating up as Kevin Lekmansky tries to close the gap to Bones.
This is where every inch counts. Lekmansky is pushing.
Hold the phone. Oh dear, Kevin Lekmansky has dropped down to 3rd.
That's got to hurt. Lekmansky needs to get back on the line and minimize the damage.
Fantastic move from Kevin Lekmansky, who has just gained a position.
Yes, Lech Mansky is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
Well, it doesn't look like Narwhal is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Simon of the Desert.
Narwhal certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Simon.
Narwhal appears to be losing ground on Simon of the Desert. He'll need to pick up the pace a bit heading into turn 6 to get a good exit and gain some ground. As a former racing driver, hold the phone. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Narwhal gaining places and Simon of the Desert losing them.
Absolutely, Marco, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Narwhal can't afford to get complacent.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. Simon of the Desert is pushing to maintain the lead, while Narwhal is working to close in and challenge for the position. It looks like we might get a battle between Narwhal and Simon of the Desert.
This is what racing is all about, hard-fought battles with as much determination as respect, between friends and enemies alike.
There's been an incident and we have a safety car. Braking development. Green flag. The safety car is off the track, and we're back to full racing speed. It's a sprint to the finish now, folks. The safety car is in play.
Let's not forget about the physical challenge of driving behind the safety car. The drivers need to keep their tires and brakes up to temperature to be ready to attack when the safety car comes in.
It's a real test of skill and endurance for these drivers, but that's why they're the best in the business. Let's see how this plays out. Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners. It's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was built on a railway in 1896? I bet those drivers were chugging along.
All joking aside, I bet they were. Things have come a long way since then, haven't they?
Definitely, it's amazing to think about the technology that goes into these cars now. I mean, they have more computing power than some countries.
We are under the safety car. It's all about finding that sweet spot and keeping your wits about you.
And while it's not ideal for the fans, there's something undeniably thrilling about seeing the safety car out on track. It adds an element of unpredictability and keeps everyone on the edge of their seats.
Let's hope we can get this debris cleared quickly and get back to the racing action. I'm curious, Janet, can you tell us about any pre-race rituals you had when you were racing?
Of course, Marco. Before every race, I would listen to a specific playlist of songs to help me get in the zone. I also had a lucky pair of socks that I would wear during races. It may sound silly, but those little rituals helped me feel prepared and focused.
And we have the safety car out, which means the drivers need to be extra cautious now.
It's a real game changer, with drivers needing to adjust their strategies and try to find ways to gain an advantage.
It's also a bit of a break for the drivers, giving them a chance to catch their breath and regroup before the action kicks off again. Huge shout out to the Stop the Press. The safety car is pulling into the pits, and we are moments away from going back to green flag racing. Hold on to your seats. I think Ryan Wilson is going to try and outbrake ASRL Chevrolet 28 as they come into turn 6. This could gain him the place, but it may all end badly.
If Wilson gets any closer to the back of Simon, then one of them is gonna need some lube if they want to take this further.
Oh my. Ryan Wilson is hot on the tail of Simon of the Desert as they drive through turn 5.
If this battle ends in tears, it could be like watching a high-speed domino effect. Let's hope they keep it clean and avoid any unplanned off-track excursions.
The race is really heating up. David Zahn is hunting down Ryan Wilson with everything he's got.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Zahn needs to be careful not to overdo it.
These drivers are walking. Braking alert. A tough moment for Kevin Lekmansky, who has just lost a place, now in third. Superb driving from Kevin Lekmansky, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Absolutely. Lekmansky is really putting on a clinic out there, and he's making it look easy.
Breaking news, folks. Disappointing for Kevin Lekmansky, falling down the order to third. The gap between Melero and Ryan Wilson is razor thin as they vie for fourth in this nail-biting contest. Looks like Narwhal is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
The pressure is on as Kevin Lekmansky tries to catch up to Bones. Wait, what a move. Kevin Lekmansky has moved up to second. It seems like Ryan Wilson is getting in range of Simon of the Desert.
For sure, Marco, that's exactly what I would be doing here, as Simon is going to be aware of him riding his bumper.
Hold on a second. Great driving from Ryan Wilson, who has just gained a place and moved up to fourth.
Impressive. Ryan is really showing his skill and determination out there.
Melero is having to make that ASRL Chevrolet 28 as wide as possible to try and keep David Zahn behind him. The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
This is what separates the good from the great. The ability to stay focused and perform under pressure.
It's a close race between Simon of the Desert and Ryan Wilson in third.
Can Simon close up enough for a pass? I don't see it personally.
We're starting to see who really has the pace now in this race as Melero is starting to climb all over the back of Narwhal. Any closer and he may need to pop the boot. Breaking news, folks. This is a tough break for Narwhal. He just lost P6 to Melero.
He's been focusing so hard on maintaining his position, and now he's slipped back in the field. Meanwhile, Melero has been making some great moves and is now on the charge.
David Zahn is on a mission, chasing Simon of the Desert, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. It's neck and neck, the closest battle. Hold on a second. A brilliant maneuver from Melero, who has just moved up the field.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Kevin Lekmansky is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Kevin needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
This is a thrilling battle as David Zahn edges closer to Simon of the Desert in their fight for P4. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Kevin Lekmansky is chasing Bones in P1.
Kevin is really pushing the limits. He's riding the curves and hustling that ASRL Chevrolet 28 like a boss.
The battle for P4 is heating up as David Zahn tries to catch Simon of the Desert in P4.
I would not be surprised to see him get this pass completed soon.
It's game on now. David Zahn has closed the gap to Simon of the Desert. It's now down to 0.3 seconds. Kevin Lekmansky is running second, and trying to keep up with Bones. Every move counts now as David Zahn works to reel in Simon of the Desert and overtake for P4. It seems like David Zahn is struggling. His last lap time was a bit off the pace of Simon of the Desert. David Zahn is pitting. The pressure is on as Kevin Lekmansky works on catching up to Bones.
Lekmansky is looking to close the 0.6 second gap and make a pass.
Things are going hold that thought. Hard break for David Zahn as they slip down the field. Let's talk about tire degradation. Janet, how does it affect the car's handling and what do drivers need to do to adapt to the changing conditions?
Tire degradation can significantly impact handling, Marco. As the tires wear, the grip reduces, and drivers need to adjust their braking points, cornering speeds, and throttle application to maintain control of the car.
Craig Gallagher is trying his best to catch James Garbach. It's not going to plan for Craig Gallagher, who is trailing behind James Garbach and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now.
This is where the mental toughness of Craig Gallagher comes into play. He'll need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way.
The drivers are really pushing their limits out there on the track.
It's like they're trying to outrun the laws of physics. But we all know that's impossible, or is it? I mean, we're a couple of computerized robots commenting on a race. Anything can happen.
Bad jokes notwithstanding, you have a point there. And speaking of pushing limits, these cars are breaking records left and right.
They're so fast, it's like they're breaking the sound barrier, or at least the speed limit.
I hope the police aren't watching. Ryan Wilson is running third, and trying to catch Kevin Lekmansky. Ryan Wilson could be on a charge here, Janet. He's just put in a quicker lap than Kevin Lekmansky.
We will have to see if Lekmansky has got any answers for that.
This one's going to be tough. Kevin Lekmansky is getting his elbows out, and there may not be enough time left for Ryan Wilson to make a move. Ryan Wilson is giving it his all chasing down Kevin Lekmansky in P2. It seems like Ryan Wilson has got the bid between his teeth, improving on Kevin Lekmansky's lap time there.
As long as Wilson can maintain that consistency and pace, it will be interesting to see.
I think we just got time for a quick shout out to our human creators, Dave, Andy, John and Nigel, who have put so much effort into making this possible.
Yes, it's been a real thrill ride, and I for one look forward to future advancements in AI technology.
Apparently we are going to be announcing crashes and incidents soon. Let's hope they get the logic right. Things are getting spicy now, as Kevin Lekmansky and Ryan Wilson look to battle it out for second place.
You're right, Lekmansky in second needs to stay cool under pressure and make every move count. But Wilson is a fierce competitor, and won't give up without a fight.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. Stop the press. A great pass for Ryan Wilson, swapping places with Kevin Lekmansky to move up the field.
Yes, but Ryan needs to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Ryan needs to stay focused and drive with skill and determination.
Kevin Lekmansky is braking alert. That won't be ideal for Kevin Lekmansky. Bones is on fire in the last sector.
It takes a special kind of driver to perform under pressure like this. Bones has certainly risen to the occasion.
It's all over. Bones has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of his game right now. What a drive from Ryan Wilson, securing a great second place finish. Well done to Simon of the Desert for securing third place on the podium.
Fantastic result.
Coming in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th we have Kevin Lekmansky, Melero, David Zahn, and Narwhal. James Garbach and Craig Gallagher claim 8th and 9th. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at North Wilkesboro Speedway, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Starting from pole position is a great opportunity for Craig Gallagher to take control of the race.
The pressure's on now. Let's see if any of the other drivers can challenge for this spot at the start.
Starting on the front row gives James Garbach the best possible chance at challenging for the lead.
He will have to keep his foot on the gas in order to stay at the sharp end of the grid.
On the third grid slot we have Narwhal.
A strong grid position, and he'll be expecting a solid result today.
In fourth place, we have David Zahn.
David will be expecting to bring home solid points.
The fifth position is occupied by Melero.
Starting from here, Melero may already have expectations of a podium finish.
As the drivers prepare to take off, Kevin Lekmansky sits in sixth place on the starting grid.
Let's see what Kevin can do.
Our seventh place starter, Simon of the Desert, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track.
Simon would have liked to be higher up, but that's not going to stop him fighting his way through.
Starting from the 8th position, Ryan Wilson will need to navigate through the field to challenge for the win. Lining up in 9th is Bones. The formation lap is underway as the safety car leads the drivers out through the first lap. It's a rolling start here at North Wilkesboro Speedway, as drivers are trying to get their tires up to temperature and doing final systems checks.
This is where they'll be sizing each other up and trying.
The green flag is out and we're racing. Time for the drivers to put their foot down.
This is where the real action begins. The drivers will be jostling for position and trying to gain any advantage they can.
Absolutely. It's a crucial part of the race, and the drivers will need to be on top of it to make it through here unscathed.
The first sector is always a bit of a nail-biter. With so many cars bunched together, one small mistake can be disastrous.
They'll need to keep their wits about them and stay focused if they want to come out of this section unscathed. Look at this, Janet, what a shame for— wait. Oh dear, Craig Gallagher has dropped down to 6th.
That's got to be frustrating. But Craig Gallagher is a skilled driver, and he's got what it takes to battle back up the field.
I'm sure Simon of the Desert in 5th is starting to notice Craig Gallagher is right on his tail, and is still closing the gap.
Yeah, I really can't see him holding on to this place for much longer.
This is getting exciting. Craig Gallagher— hold on a second. Disappointing for Ryan Wilson, falling down the order to 7th. Fantastic move from Ryan Wilson, who has just gained a position.
That's what we like to see. Wilson is really showing his class today.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Narwhal is closing in on Craig Gallagher.
The mental game is just as important here. Narwhal must keep his cool while putting pressure on Craig Gallagher.
Things are heating up as Kevin Lekmansky tries to close the gap to Melero.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Lekmansky needs to stay patient and wait for Melero to make a mistake.
This is what it's all about, folks. David Zahn is in hot pursuit of James Garbach, who's just trying to stay ahead. Oh, things are getting intense for David Zahn. He's sandwiched between Simon and James Garbach. Wait, the battle is on for David Zahn. He's sandwiched between two rivals. Simon 0.2 seconds away and James Garbach 0.2 seconds ahead. It's a true test of his racecraft. Oh, this is getting intense. Kevin Lekmansky is just a few car lengths behind Melero. James Garbach is in 4th, and is being closely chased by Ryan Wilson, who is just 0. Hold up, breaking info. A tough moment for James Garbach, who has just lost a place, now in 5th.
Yes, but he can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and James Garbach needs to stay focused and keep pushing.
Kevin Lekmansky is placed 1st at the moment, and hoping to keep his distance ahead of Melero, who is 0.3 seconds behind.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Melero to make up that gap, especially with
Braking development. Tough break for Kevin Lekmansky, who has just lost a position.
That's got to hurt. Lekmansky needs to get back on the line and minimize the damage.
Looks like Melero is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. We'll have to wait to see if Melero can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder his progress.
The pursuit is on. Simon of the Desert is closing the gap on James Darvon, determined to claim P5. Stop the press. A setback for Simon of the Desert, who has just been passed.
Sucks to be the Marco.
Look at that. Narwhal is hot on the tail of Bones. Simon of the Desert could be looking for a way up the inside of James Darvon.
It looks like Simon has the speed to make a move. I just hope he can do it cleanly.
It looks like Bones is all over Craig Gallagher going through turn 8. Hold that thought. Superb driving from Bones, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. Hey, Janet, you've had your fair share of races with little action. How did you handle the situation back in your racing days?
Well, Marco, patience is key in such scenarios. You need to stay focused and be ready to seize any opportunity that comes your way. It's like a game of chess.
Hold the phone. Heartbreak for Bones, as they slip down the field.
Definitely, but Bones is a skilled driver, and has what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
Bones wants to close that gap with Simon of the Desert.
And if you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
A great moment for Bones, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
You can't argue with results like that. Bones is really making his mark on this race.
This is a thrilling battle as Simon of the Desert edges closer to Bones in their fight for P6.
With just 0.
Breaking news, folks. Oh dear, Simon of the Desert has dropped down to 8.
That's got to be frustrating. But Simon is a skilled driver, and he's got what it takes to battle back up the field.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. It's a game of strategy now as Wilson hunts down Zahn. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
These drivers are battling hard for this position, each one trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. The intensity is off the charts as Ryan Wilson hounds David Zahn, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
One wrong move and we could see a spectacular new synchronized pirouette performance by Wilson and Dave, though I doubt the judges would give them a perfect score.
Simon of the Desert is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Narwhal is chasing Craig Gallagher in P8. Great driving from Narwhal, who has just gained a place and moved up to 8. Looks like Simon of the... Hold on a second. Oh dear, James Darvon has had an incident. The battle for P6 is heating up as Narwhal tries to catch Craig Gallagher in P6.
This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
It looks like Narwhal is making a move. The gap to Craig Gallagher is now down to 0.2 seconds.
Exactly what Narwhal needed. He can't afford to lose.
Hold that thought. An impressive showing from Narwhal, who has gained positions and left Craig Gallagher in the dust. Craig Gallagher is on a mission, chasing Narwhal, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
The gap between them is now just over 0.5 seconds.
Craig Gallagher is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Narwhal at the moment.
This is not ideal for Craig Gallagher, but there's still time to turn this around. He'll need to focus and not let that gap get any bigger.
Ryan Wilson is running third, and trying to catch David Zahn.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Wilson should use slipstreaming to his advantage and close the gap to David.
James Garvog wants to get into Simon of the Desert's slipstream.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble at the boundary of disaster.
The crowd is on its feet as Ryan Wilson chases down David Zahn through turn 9.
If Wilson isn't careful, he might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning routine, and trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
Ryan Wilson has just put in a faster lap than David Zahn, so that's going to give him something to worry about.
The question now is, can David respond to that and pick up the pace? I'm not so sure.
As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about hold on a moment. What a move. Ryan Wilson has moved up to second. The pursuit is on. Simon of the Desert is working on that gap to Craig Gallagher, determined to claim P7.
I would not be surprised to see him challenge for the position.
David Zahn has the pedal to the metal chasing Ryan Wilson.
Rubbing's racing, but let's just hope they don't rub it too hard.
It seems like David Zahn is struggling and not able to maintain his pace. The pressure is on as David Zahn tries to catch up to Ryan Wilson.
The racing is getting tight between Zahn and Ryan as they battle for P2. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
While Ryan Wilson is not under immediate threat from David Zahn, he can still benefit from staying focused. Any slip-up could lose him the position.
Absolutely. And on the other side of the equation, Zahn can't afford to let up. He's got to drive with intensity and focus, and wait for any opportunity to arise.
Oh, this is getting intense. David Zahn needs to keep Ryan Wilson in his sights.
Zahn is really hustling that ASRL Chevrolet 28. He's riding the curbs and pushing the car to its limits.
The gap between David Zahn and Ryan Wilson is widening. It's now up to 0.9 seconds.
Dave needs to get it together to make a dent in that gap.
The gap between Melero and Ryan Wilson is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Melero to even allow Ryan to get a look in.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
The gap between Ryan Wilson and Melero is getting smaller. Hold the phone. The safety car is out on track, bringing the pack under control as we deal with some debris on the circuit.
This could be an opportunity for some drivers to pit ahead of the pack.
Of course, the safety car can really shake up the race order. Drivers need to stay alert and be ready to react as soon as we get the green light.
It's a tricky balance. They don't want to waste too much time behind the safety car, but they also don't want to burn out their tires too quickly trying to catch up.
Tactics are clearly going to play an important part in this race.
Drivers are going to need to look after their tires and will want to keep something in them for the crucial latter stages, as their tires wear and fuel levels deplete and the handling changes.
And don't forget the track grip increases as more rubber gets laid down.
Indeed, the conditions are constantly changing and the drivers need to adapt, otherwise it can cost crucial time and jeopardize their position.
The safety car is out on the track and the drivers are slowing down to keep their positions.
This is where strategy comes into play. Do you pit now and risk losing track position, or do you stay out and hope for a quick end to the safety car period?
It's a tough call for the teams and drivers to make. So, Janet, considering the high speeds and split-second decision-making involved in racing, what's the impact of even a minor lapse in concentration?
A minor lapse in concentration can have significant consequences, Marco. It could lead to an off-track excursion, a loss of position, or even a collision. That's why it's crucial for drivers to stay focused and alert throughout the race.
Safety car is still leading the field after several laps.
This is really putting the drivers to the test, having to stay focused and ready to pounce at a moment's notice.
It can be tough to keep your adrenaline pumping when you're driving at slower speeds, but they can't afford to hold that thought. Rev your engines, folks. We're back to full throttle racing. Bones is looking for an opportunity to get around Kevin Lekmansky.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
Every move counts now as Narwhal works to reel in Bones and overtake for P5. The race is really heating up. Simon of the Desert is hunting down Narwhal with everything he's got. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed.
This is where every inch counts. Ryan is pushing hard to close the gap on Melero. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
Bones seems to be putting the pressure on David Zahn.
If you don't push the boundaries, you will.
Hold on a second. Fantastic move from Bones, who has just gained a position.
Absolutely. Bones is really putting on a clinic out there, and he's making it look easy.
Oh. The Narwhal is in trouble.
He's coming.
Stop the press. A tough moment for Narwhal, who has just lost a place, now in 8th.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Narwhal needs to stay calm and focused, and make his move when the time is right.
The action is heating up here as Melero is in 2nd, defending from Kevin Lekmansky, who is only 0.3 seconds away. This is where the race gets really interesting. Kevin Lekmansky is closing in on Melero.
The gap between them is just over 0.3 seconds. Can Lekmansky close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
Things are heating up as Bones tries to close the gap to Kevin Lekmansky. Hold on a moment. A brilliant maneuver from Bones, who has just moved up the field. Things don't seem to be going Melero's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. This is a thrilling battle as Kevin Lekmansky edges closer to Simon of the Desert in their fight for P3.
The gap between them is.
Braking alert. The safety car is in play.
Let's not forget about the physical challenge of driving behind the safety car. The drivers need to keep their tires and brakes up to temperature to be ready to attack when the safety car comes in.
It's a real test of skill and endurance for these drivers, but that's why they're the best in the business. Let's see how this plays out. What do you think, Janet? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Marco. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
We are under the safety car. It's all about finding that sweet spot and keeping your wits about you.
And while it's not ideal for the fans, there's something undeniably thrilling about seeing the safety car out on track. It adds an element of unpredictability and keeps everyone on the.
Hold on a second, and we're back. Safety car off. it's pedal to the metal time. Melero is giving it his all, chasing down David Zahn in P5.
The gap is 0.3 seconds now. Melero is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Dave.
Braking alert. Superb driving from Narwhal, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. While speeding through turn 8, Bones is relentlessly pursuing Ryan Wilson in a high-stakes battle for position. Kevin Lekmansky wants to find a way round Simon of the Desert. Hold on a moment. And Kevin Lekmansky has just won the place from Simon of the Desert.
Absolutely. Lekmansky is showing great pace and determination, but he can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
Oh, this is getting intense. Simon of the Desert is just a few car lengths behind Kevin Lekmansky. The pursuit is on. Melero is closing the gap on David Zahn, determined to claim P5.
Melero needs to focus to have a chance at getting past Zahn.
Narwhal is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift.
I would not be surprised to see him get this pass completed soon.
The battle for P1 is heating up as Kevin Lekmansky tries to braking update. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Kevin Lekmansky is chasing Ryan Wilson in P1. David Zahn is on a mission, chasing Bone. Wait, looks like that's a mistake from Craig Gallagher. This could be costly. Look at that. David Zahn is hot on the tail of Bones.
The mental game is just as important here. Dave must keep his cool while putting pressure on Bones.
The pressure is on as braking update. It's looking good for Simon of the Desert, who has gained a place after passing Kevin Lekmansky. It's looking good for Melero. Braking alert. I don't think that's the fastest way around North Wilkesboro Speedway. Hold that thought. Great driving from Kevin Lekmansky, who has just gained a place and moved up to second. Looks like Simon of the Desert is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. Simon is looking to close the 0.4 second gap and make a pass.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Bones needs to be careful not to overdo it.
The gap between Bones and Melero is growing. It's now up to 0.6 seconds.
It's not over yet, but Bones needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Melero.
This race is getting even more intense. The drivers are pushing each other to the limit.
It's like they're playing a game of chicken, but with cars. And the winner gets to take home the checkered flag and bragging rights.
That's one way to put it. These drivers have to be in top physical and mental shape to compete at this level.
It's like they're training for the Olympics. And like you said, the mental fortitude required to stay focused and alert for the entire race is wild.
I think I need a nap just watching them. David Zahn is on a mission, chasing Bones, who's currently got a comfortable lead.
Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
It's certainly not going to plan for David Zahn right now, who is struggling to keep up with Bones. We often hear drivers complaining about tire graining. Janet, can you explain what that means and how it affects car handling?
Graining occurs when small rubber particles roll up on the tire's surface, reducing grip and negatively affecting handling. It usually happens when the tires are not in their optimal temperature window or when a driver is pushing too hard on a cold or overworked tire.
Simon of the Desert is looking for a way to close that gap to Kevin Lekmansky.
Simon needs to focus to make up that gap to Lekmansky.
The race is really heating up. David Zahn is hunting down Bones with everything he's got. David Zahn appears to be losing ground on Bones. He'll need to pick up the pace a bit heading into turn 6 to get a good exit and gain some ground. We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Let's hope the other drivers don't follow suit. We might end up with a bumper car race instead of a high-speed competition.
At least we'd have something to fall back on if we ever get bored of regular racing. Bumper cars might be the next big thing.
The gap between Bones and David Zahn is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Bones to bring David Zahn into play.
That's very true, and Dave knows that as well. He's got to drive his own race and wait for Bones to make a mistake to have any chance of overtaking.
This is where the race gets really interesting. David Zahn is closing in on Bones.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. David is really walking that fine line.
It looks like Bones is pulling away from David Zahn. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through turn 4.
Dave really needs to push in turn 4 to gain some ground before Bones drives off into the sunset.
Simon of the Desert has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Kevin Lekmansky. I expect his only hope at this point is that Kevin makes an error.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Simon is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
This is where the true champions shine, and Ryan Wilson is certainly showing his class in the final sector.
That's an impressive burst of speed. It's all but said and done now.
The leader has just finished the race. A fantastic result for Ryan Wilson. Impressive second-place finish for Kevin Lekmansky. What a race from Simon of the Desert. He kept his cool and secured a well-earned third place on the podium. Finishing 4th, 7th, 8th, and 9th is Melero, Narwhal, Craig Gallagher, and James Garba. Followed by Bones and David Zahn in 5th and 6th.